What's going on, guys? It's Red Bull Tanker, and welcome back to Axis and Allies 1914, Turn 8 for the German Empire. It is now February to July 1918, which means we only got one turn remaining before the war ends. So, let's get going. Austria. Excuse me. Austria, with 20 to spend, they bought 5 infantry and an artillery, saving 1. They did do 2 things of combat. They attacked here in Trieste against an Italian infantry and artillery, and they attacked the Russians up here in Galicia. Get this out of the way. At Trieste, the Austrians did kill the Italian infantry and artillery at no loss, while in Galicia, the Austrians destroyed 4 Russian infantry and an artillery at a loss of 3 infantry and an artillery. Very, very unlucky for the Austrians that the majority of the Russian forces actually scored hits on that front. On that score. All right, then at the end of the turn, the Austrians collected 25 plus 1 saved for 26. If I can fix that. Okay, going over to the Russians. The Russians had 30 IPC to spend. They just bought 10 infantry and put that in the Ukraine. Or wait, no, they bought 8 infantry and an artillery for the Ukraine, saving 2 IPC. The Russians only did one thing of combat this turn, and that was to continue its FU attacks against the Central Powers by taking its forces from Bulgaria and attacking Constantinople. And after one round of combat, they killed a Ottoman infantry and artillery, while the Russians lost an infantry and artillery and a fighter. And yes, so the Ottomans are in very deep trouble as we go into the final 2 turns of the game. The Ottomans are definitely not staying in this game, especially now that the Russians are holding on to their. All right, going over to Germany. Germany has... What do we have? Germany has 29 IPC to spend. We are buying 8 infantry and an artillery, which I did not put out onto where I'm just setting forces. The Germans are going to have one thing of combat this turn. They are going to attack the Russian defender in Silesia, although given the amount of German stuff, there's an unlikely chance that the Germans will miss. So we will just roll for the Russian, and the Russian misses. So Germany gets back Silesia. And it's 3 IPC. And then that was basically it for the Germans. I'm trying to see here. So on the non-combat for the Germans, let's see here. As always, we're going to take the reinforcements in the Ruhr, push them into Alsace. We're going to take, let's see here. We're going to take the majority. We're going to take 1 infantry and 1 artillery out of Kiel, move it back to Berlin. I just with the Brits having 4 transports up there. I mean, with the Brits having 4 transports up there, and there's only 2 turns left in the game, it goes without saying that there could be a British. The British could try a thrust against Berlin, so I'd rather not run that risk right at the end of the game. Next, well, I mean that's it for German movement. So the Germans will deploy 8 infantry and an artillery in the Ruhr. And then at the end of the turn, the Germans will collect 28 plus the one that they, or no, plus the 2 that they saved. No, wait, sorry. Sorry, we saved 1. So 8 infantry and artillery, 29, saved 1. So we'll collect 28 plus the 1 that we saved. However, we do have to minus 24 because we do not make an attack in the Western Front. And again, I think I said this in another video. I can't remember if I said this on video again. But I think the mandatory offensives are only going to cover the turns that cover February to July 1916 and then July to January 1917, since 1916 is the biggest year for combat for the Germans, the British, and the French. So that'll just probably be something that I change up for that. But so that is it for Germany, and we will see you guys next time for Great Britain. So until then, guys, as always, take care.